Hi, I'm Lou with another episode of My Car Story. Today we're out in the suburbs of Houston and we've got a great car show for you coming up in April 2026. Check out the description. It's called Keels and Wheels in Seabrook, Texas at their yacht club. It's going to be a fantastic time. And I'm with Kevin Brady. He's a person who's been a long-term supporter of that show, and he's got an amazing car for us today. Kevin, what year, make, and model is this one?
Well, it's a 1953 Chevrolet Corvette. It's serial number 32, so one of the early models, editions of the first year Corvette.
Let's take a look at our featured attraction. So that said, they were all in Polo White. This one, as you can see, has the nice fins as you'd expect from that year. As we take a look at those fins, that little rocket-like adventure. The exhaust was a little shortened. You would sometimes have some blowback coming up in here. You've got the chrome bumper there, the chrome wrapping around there, and down there is where your key is to open this up. And of course, you've got the glass over the license plate here. Let's take a look in our trunk, shall we? We've got some trunk and treats for them. And this right here shows that we've got that this one is a award winner with the National Corvette Register Society, showing that it's the real deal. Your operating manual, your radio, and the side glass that goes back here. And this is actually an article you wrote about some of the unaccounted for VINs.
Yeah, on the 70th anniversary, we undertook trying to find out how many of these 53s had survived, and found a remarkable number of them.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. How did you, I know you're a Corvette collector. Of course, it's great to have a first year, right?
Right.
How did you come across this one?
Well, I looked for one for quite some time. They come up to auction occasionally, and so I found one that the price was right and it was in good shape and a low number Corvette. And I wanted to have the first year.
Yeah.
As a Corvette collector.
Well, congratulations for getting a first year. That's a real accomplishment. We'll close that.
Okay.
I want to just show people the car from the side as I move back here. Yeah, anytime you can have the first year of this Roadster, it's really a special moment. I mean, it's so cool how they've got the fins there on the wheels. You can see kind of how the fins work there. What was your reaction when you actually knew you got it?
Oh, I was ecstatic, yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and the one fun thing too, and I'll show the interior while we're right here, is they're all pretty much the same car. Am I correct? I mean, was there any options on one over another?
They had heater and radio, but they all got the heater and the radios.
Yeah.
They're all options exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly.
But they were trying to figure out how to build these cars for the first time, so they sent the parts to St. Louis, and they had to, or to Flint, Michigan, actually, for the first plant, and they had to figure out how to assemble them. So the first few cars weren't even put together in the same order. They took a few models to figure out how to put the thing together properly.
No door handles, as you can see. This little piece there they engineered to get the top up, and then the door handle opens right inside here where my hand is, and that pulls open there. Interesting curvature to the door. Big steering wheel right in your lap. Now, were they all automatics?
They were all automatics.
All automatics. Yeah.
They rushed the car to market. It debuted in January 17th of 1953, and by June 30th, the first one rolled off the assembly line. So
yeah,
they kind of put together what they had in terms of parts almost to make this car come to life.
Yeah.
It was very popular at the Autorama, and everyone said it's a great car. We want it, and
let's do this. Yeah.
They did. And they were only able to make 300 of them the first year.
Let me. We'll close that door for a moment. Now, of course, you've got that, I'll call it famous front end on it with the grates over the headlight. You know, being the first ones too, I don't know if I can see it very well, but you could see the weave in the first year. And the fit and finish, this is normal, correct? For the 53.
They didn't fit real well. trying to figure out how to get them pieced together.
Yeah, like if we look on the other side, you could see it fits better.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is how it was.
You see a wide gap here in the door here also. It's a wide, got a wide gap right there.
Yeah, and that's how you know it was right,
Yeah.
if you will. Now, do you pop the hood? Is there two pulls on each side, I believe?
Yeah, this has two. You got
One on this side.
one on that side and one on the other side.
Okay. And the Chevrolet Corvette there with your fin.
They all had the Blue Flame 6.
I'll do this on this side, the special, and I'll do this for the Blue Flame. I'll just go on that side in a second. And then where is
So this engine was originally about 105 horsepower, I believe, and they got it to about 150 horsepower by putting 3 carburetors and a camshaft in it. So they made this into a performance, if you will, engine. It actually had some concern from the public because it wasn't as performance driven as it got criticism for a 2-speed automatic transmission for a 6-cylinder engine. I tell people 0 to 60 is halfway to Galveston. It's
we've got a special signature there. Yeah. Zora Duntov. How did you get his signature on this car?
This car, when it was certified in Florida, NCRS certified, Zora was a guest at that event. And
yeah.
They compelled him to, or got him to sign the other side of the hood here. So that's pretty special.
That is pretty special. Now, where is the VIN tag? Is it in the door? Where it actually shows it's on the other door? Oh, it's right there on the side. I see it. It's right there. And there's number 32.
Right.
Wow.
All the numbers had that same numbering convention with the last 3 digits being so they were 001 to 300.
Right. And that makes it the real deal. Let's fire it up, shall we?
Oh, yeah, sure.
While we've got it. Now there was some carburation issues that the gas, since there were side mount like this, would actually drop down. The gas would be dripping on it. Is that?
Yeah, the needle and seats are tough to. I finally found the right combination of needle and seat where the gas stays in it.
Yeah, right. All right, well go ahead. Let's fire it up.
We'll have to use some choke.
Okay, sure. I like how you can see everything mechanical moving. 6-volt system? Yeah, 6-volt, yeah. Yeah. Oh, kind of coming to life a little bit there.
It's got a very slow idle speed, so you can tell it idles pretty slow.
Yeah, let me listen to the exhaust for just a second. You step on the brakes for just a second, Kevin. There we go. Your tail lights. Go ahead, give it a rev. That is exactly what the first year Corvettes sound like, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's take this one for a ride. Let's do it. So here we are in the 1953 Corvette, and it feels great taking a ride in this one. Congratulations again for being a Corvette collector and getting one of the first Corvettes. That's really an accomplishment. Just a reminder, we've got the April 2026 car show in Seabrook, Texas at their yacht club. Come see me, I'd love to see you. Kevin's been a long-time supporter. Kevin, tell us a little bit about your background with that show.
Yeah, I've been a long-time exhibitor there. Even before that, just go to see the great cars. I became an exhibitor, and as I got to know them better and the great job that they do, I became a sponsor for them as well. So,
yeah. Now, you have a software package or something, or?
Yeah, it's called AutoFame, and I'm trying to do my part to help with maintain car culture, and it allows people to document their collector cars. And we actually do event planning and car show judging. So Keels and Wheels actually uses the platform to do the judging for the car show.
That is great. Yeah, I mean, obviously the channel is to leave the legacy of these great cars and, you know, share these amazing stories with the people that we have. I'm gonna, as we go back, I'll show people a little bit about where we're driving. I don't know if we can hit that right there is perfect.
Yeah.
I'll just show people a little of what it's like to get in the 53 Corvette.
Shifts hard, but it only shifts once.
That's it.
Only 2-speed.
Oh, that's just delightful.
Got a tall first gear. It gets about 40 miles an hour before it shifts.
Really? Yeah, it feels great. Beautiful scenery. Nice day. Perfect day for a convertible top. Being this roadster feels just so comfortable. It's always a treat to find a 53 Corvette, let alone to get a chance to ride in one. It's just such a piece of history for America.
Well, I think the cars ought to be driven and shown too. So
Yeah.
This car runs because I drive it.
Exactly.
You know, a lot of these cars sit up and they become personal trophies or personal
Achievements.
and they don't really get exercised the way they should.
Right. Kevin, what a fun time. What a great caretaker you are for this car. Thanks so much for letting us take it out. Let me hear the horn. Does the horn work? There we go. Thanks so much for being on My Car Story.
Okay.
Thank you.